Welcome to Bunch Formation After Dark. I'm Chris Vannini, and man, that was a crazy finish
Yeah.
to the nightcap of college football. Dave, I'm joined here by David Ubben.
Yes.
We got Penn State, Oregon beating Penn State in overtime on an interception. We got Alabama winning at Georgia. I'm currently sitting in Ari Wasserman's house at an undisclosed location in Dallas, Texas. So I don't think they're live on their show yet. I think we got out first. So thank you, everybody.
That's good. That's good.
Thank you for everybody who is here. We are live on YouTube. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. This is something we try to do for fun on Saturdays. Just kind of let it rip. There's no real structure here. We just kind of want to react to everything. Got some people in some comments already. Leave comments, leave questions, whatever. We'll get to it as the night goes on. David, whew, man, that was electric.
Dude, that was incredible. That was two incredible scenes on campuses, road teams walking out of there, sending the fans home disappointed. I mean, just a great college football game. Those games were kind of similar in that, you saw Alabama, swing hard and deliver that first punch, and you kind of have Georgia playing catch up the rest of the game. Penn State was dead. They were done. That game was over. And then all of a sudden it wasn't. And I don't even really know why that Penn State offense, which was way more wide open down the stretch, I don't know why we didn't see that more early on. Penn State is confounding to me because I said going into the season, Chris, this is the number one team in the country preseason, and I don't trust them at all. Like, to me, they're clearly the best team coming in, and I don't trust them. And tonight we kind of saw why. Just limited, man. Limited.
Look, we'll start there. Comment from Andrew T. Drew Aller sucks. And look, for all but like 3 drives of that game, he did. And it's the second big game in a row ends with a Drew Aller interception. It happened against Notre Dame, cost them when they were tied, led to the game-winning field goal to go to the college football playoff final. And here in overtime, when a touchdown and 2-point conversion would give you the win. I don't see it with Drew Aller. I never have. Even when people say, like, if you just watch the tools and all this stuff, I don't see the tools. Like,
well,
he doesn't look good throwing the ball.
On the tying touchdown, I mean, that's pretty toolsy. There's not a lot of guys that can make that kind of throw off their back foot. But you just don't see that enough. We see that, like, a few times a season, not a few times a drive. Like, I see the tools, but I want to see more accuracy. I want to see more playmaking. You just don't really see that, and it's frustrating.
All right, Dave, you got to pop off for about 30 seconds.
I'll be off for a second,
when you're good. All right, so I'll just kind of run this thing here for a minute. I mean, just like, it's the same thing with him. He's a senior. He's been here forever. He hasn't gotten any better. Like, he'll have a couple of good throws here and there, but the thing David said coming into the game was the easy stuff that's there, he doesn't hit it. And he again didn't hit it. But that's, I mean, James Franklin in a big game once again. I'm someone who picked Penn State to go to the national championship and win the national championship, and I don't feel good about that right now. There is a lot to do, but I don't know. Kenneth Ross here. Is Penn State's fourth quarter offense something to be positive about at all? And, like, sure, but Penn State only has like 2 meaningful games on the schedule, really. And I guess 3 now because Indiana looks good, but you've got Ohio State left, you've got Indiana left. And the rest of that means nothing in terms of the perception of Penn State. Like, so we're just going to have to wait and see on that. They've got UCLA, Northwestern, Iowa, then a bye, then Ohio State. A bye, by the way. They were coming off a bye for this game and could do nothing for 3 quarters. Like, that's...
Chris, am I harping too much on... I tweeted about it twice during the game. The fact that they can't get the ball to these receivers, like 3 catches for 10 yards through 3 quarters is insane to me. Like, this isn't a problem for almost anyone else. And I was texting you during the game. I believe I called Penn State. They seem like they're basically just super Iowa in a lot of ways. I mean, is that too harsh? I think I don't get it. They looked fine on those last couple drives. That was more confident offense, but I don't know.
Was it Parker Fleming who was at the tweet? It's like Penn State is Iowa with a finished basement.
I missed that. I think a lot of this is just like, some of it tonight, I'll give them not a pass, but they couldn't protect, which is its own problem. So they're rushing them, but you can't get a screen out there. Get the ball into your playmakers' hands. I don't know.
I
Caden
liked what
Proctor's
they
not
did.
walking through that door, so I don't know.
I liked what they did late, like using Pena in the speed option game. And it worked a couple times. Like they did figure some stuff out there, and they did wear down Oregon's defense. I was surprised Dan Lanning kicked to go to the second overtime because I was like, you really want to put it on your defense again? No, look, it worked. They got the interception to win the game, but they looked tired late in that game. And
I wonder
Young
how much
won.
that is. I wonder how much that is, Chris. His first overtime game as a coach, and then I wonder if the shovel pass that they had to get that touchdown was maybe the 2-point play that they had in their bag. I wonder.
Could be, because the one that they did use did not work. It almost, I don't even know what the rule is. If Oregon had returned that or Penn State had returned that for a score, I believe that's just 2 points, right?
Yeah, but then I think so. But then
But
would they
do
start
you
the
get
bottom
2
half
points?
down 4? I don't
Yeah,
know.
I'm guessing that's what it
believe
would be.
so.
In a touchdown would win you the game without needing
I
the 2
think
points.
that's right. I don't know that
That's my guess.
for certain, but I believe that to be true. So
yeah. N Young one says it's felt like I've seen this exact same Penn State game every year for the past 10 years. You would be correct.
I don't know.
Yes.
They showed a little bit more fight in this one than they did in the
They
Ohio
did, but
State and
showing
Michigan
enough
games
fight to keep it close and still lose, that's every game.
Well, I mean, they didn't keep it close and still lose, Chris. I mean, they were a couple plays away from winning that game a couple times. I mean, they were much closer to actually winning this game than
they were also
any of the Michigan or Ohio State. Yeah, but then they weren't. I'm just saying, you drag a really good Oregon team, who I picked to win the Big Ten, feeling good about that, into overtime.
Yeah.
And then you go up in the first overtime. Did they have a fourth down they had to convert? I believe they did, right? Because they ran more on that just a little quarterback draw with a lead blocker.
Yeah.
I believe that's right. So not a quarterback draw, probably more of a quarterback, like
Dante Moore,
power.
by the way. Dante Moore, I was super impressed with him, by the way.
Oh, yeah. This is kind of his first big like stage game.
Mm-hmm. He finishes 29 for 39, 248 yards, 3 touchdowns in the air, 35 yards rushing. He had some throws. It was like, whew, that's a big time. A couple throws on the run where you're like, wow, that
one over the top of the defense was crazy. And he loves Gary Bryant. Gary Bryant may be one of the most underrated players in the country. There's probably a lesson to be learned here in the Dante Moore experience, because you watched him at UCLA and you're like, I don't know, I can kind of see it, but like UCLA is not very good. He's a true freshman. His head's kind of spinning. Mm-hmm. And part of that is playing with a better team, obviously, in Oregon. But, leaving and spending 2 years where you're not playing, or I guess it was 1 year, or maybe a year and a half. Either way, it feels like that did wonders for his development, because beyond making plays tonight, he just seemed like that's a tough spot to walk into. He just seemed like, I'm good. You look in his face coming into overtime, he's just like, I'm not gonna, he didn't look wide-eyed. He wasn't looking around. Like, some of the body language stuff, it's maybe overstated, but like for your first real big game, that to me, like I liked what I saw from him in terms of just intangibles tonight. Forget like the throws and making all those plays. Like, he did all that stuff, but he felt solid. Like, if I'm in the huddle with him, like, I feel good. Like, this guy's going to lead us to the promised land.
You got Tony Yeo saying Penn State versus Clemson for the Natty. Yeah, what kind of idiot would have predicted that, huh? Certainly not me, who had them at 1 and 2. And look, Penn State's still alive for the national championship and the Big Ten championship, and all these things are still in front of them. But it's like, guys, what are we gonna what are we doing now? With Dante Moore, like, that's such a luxury to have a Power 4 starting quarterback transfer to you and be willing to sit a year. That just doesn't happen. That's
my point, though. That should happen more, I think. So, I don't know.
Well, I mean, you kind of had that with Trinidad Chambliss and Ole Miss a little bit. We'll talk about later, but he came to be the backup, and look how that turned out. Dan Lanning,
Texas, who's been patient and worked out, but we'll see.
Dan Lanning, his first big win, I would say. I mean, they're both against Penn State now. He won the Big Ten last year, but in a game in which your team was it was a tough environment. Your team stayed composed and came out on top. I thought that was good for him. Also, I've got Colorado BYU on here now. I'm seeing Bear Bachmeier's number 47 in person for the first time.
You haven't been watching? Oh, the Stanford
I've not watched
game.
BYU
yet. It's so bad. it's funny because I'll see tweets of like beat reporters or fans of teams who are watching BYU for the first time. But I watched them against Stanford in one other game, and it's as bad as I thought it was going to be. It's just I don't
Yeah.
know how someone doesn't step in, because again, the Bear Bachmeier thing, if he had some reason to do it, I would probably respect it. I don't like the Devin Brown 33, although he's gotten rid of it now at Cal. He also lost the job at Cal. But it was like a tie to his family. It's some kind of Roger Staubach
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. No, anyway,
Sammy
I get
Baugh
it.
thing. I forget.
It's tough.
He used to play running back, and he was 47, and then he switched to quarterback and was like, I'm keeping it. It's like, no, you're not. No, you're not.
Yeah.
Whoever went back, and like, if I had a time machine, I think the first thing I would do is go back to whoever let him switch from running back to quarterback, and whoever allowed him to keep his number, just step in there and be like, no, you're taking 16 or whatever. You can do 17 or 14 or 4 or 7. You can't do 47. We're not doing that here.
So
we're not a bunch of perverts.
So I thought there were so many pieces of this Oregon team that were impressive. I mean, DeCorian Moore, several big tough catches. Kenyon Sadiq, everything that they said about him. I mean, look, this was the first big test for both these teams. They both had played nobody, and so they had fallen in my rankings just because they hadn't played anybody. Oregon's easily, I mean, yes, top 5. I'm probably putting them top 3. At least, maybe number 2. We'll talk about Ohio State in a little bit. Very impressive in the win at Washington.
Chris, you're not going to believe this, but I don't care that much about how you order the top 3.
Well, the thing is, like, what do you do with Penn State now, though? Like, they've done nothing except lose this game.
They're probably like borderline top 10 for me. I don't know.
We got a text from our friend Grace Rayner in the chat, which is also similar to this comment from Samuel Thomas. Allen, Nussmeier, Klubnik. What's the deal with all the QB scouts were talking about being frauds to open the year? And Grace said, are Drew Aller and Kate Klubnik just the same people? I mean,
Kate Klubnik is much more athletic. Drew Aller, I don't know. I get why he was what people said he was. I just don't know that we're ever going to see him be the starting quarterback on a great team that's great because of him. Whether that's in college, whether that's the NFL, that's just hard for me to see. Like, I could see it turning on Klubnik. Something's off in Clemson, and he hasn't looked good, but like, I'm still holding on to the Klubnik stock. I've been an Aller skeptic for a long time. We talked about it on the show on Thursday. We ran through the numbers. Just when you watch him in those games, and he was pretty good tonight, I would say. This is probably the best game I've seen him play in a big game atmosphere. But you just don't see enough.
No, and look, these are the these are the veterans. Those were the guys we thought were going to carry the way, and they haven't. It's been other people. So, all right, let's get into Alabama, Georgia here. Appreciate everybody who's there listening. We see the numbers. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. We're doing these things on YouTube. Usually we'll throw them up on the podcast feed, maybe on Sunday, but trying to do this live, just kind of in the moment, reacting to things. Alabama beats Georgia 24-21. Alabama was led for pretty much the whole game. They went up. I don't even know if was this game ever even tied. Not yet. Alabama led from its first score to the end. And I think my overall thought on this game is what I said going in, which was Kalen DeBoer's teams, you don't have to worry about them in the big games. Like they
were ready tonight.
Are their best in those games. They were ready. It's the games against 6-6 teams you have to worry about them laying an egg. And I count Florida State in that because Florida State was coming off of a 2-10 season. It felt like Alabama thought they could get off the bus.
Yeah, that wasn't a game that they were fired up about. I think for me, I mean, I knew that was the case, but for me, I think twofold here. One, man, the Ty Simpson thing looks like a much better fit. Like, you can't.
He looks good.
Jalen Milroe was such a special sort of talent that you kind of just have to try and make it work, even though that's not the best fit. You're not going to probably do better, and you can do some things with him that just people can't do. But man, Simpson looks like a much better fit. And when he has a clean pocket and he has open receivers, and that receiver group is pretty good. Ryan Williams, kind of a quiet night for him. Isaiah Horton had a nice night.
Bad drop.
But yeah, he did. That drop on the, like, what's going on with the the receivers of the world. The Ryan Williams, we got Marvin Harrison in the NFL having some issues.
Georgia had one too in this game. Dropped a deep
I'm
touchdown.
talking about the
So
elite receivers. But either way, I think
yeah,
so. You have a Ty Simpson coming out party. I think it looks like that. You get Ryan Grubb back. You get a more traditional passer. The offense looks like it just makes a lot more sense.
it's
It looks
in
a
a
lot more like
rhythm.
the Kalen DeBoer team. Yes. Secondly, they won that game, I think, because of the offensive line. And I think they won that because Georgia's front, man, mortal. We've just seen them just destroy people for 5 years, and they just looked like any other team up front defensively, and that's kind of wild to see.
It's what we said coming in. I said coming into this game, I felt a lot better about Georgia's skill talent and poorly about what they were in the trenches on both sides, and that's how it played out. Look at the stat. Alabama was 13 for 19 on third down. That they were like
that's not a Kirby Smart defense.
They never got Alabama off of their rhythm. Ty Simpson would step back, he'd take his 3 to 5 step drop, he'd step up in the pocket and he'd find something. Like the offensive line, like sometimes it's easy to say like, yeah, the offensive line itself was great, but the center and the guards were so good that Simpson could always step up. If there was an edge rusher coming, he could step up into his rhythm throw. Looked really, really good. Sam Callan comments, UGA could knock it off the field. Schumann might be the problem. I mean, it's not just Schumann. I mean, that's Kirby Smart's defense. He is obviously very much a part of that. They still
have erasers everywhere. Like you look at, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Nazir Stackhouse, Michael Williams. Where you just don't see these erasers out there where you're just like, oh my gosh, they can't block this guy.
They're all in Philadelphia.
See that? Yeah, they are all in Philadelphia, and that is what it is. Also, Mark Schwartz got to it. Can we talk about the Proctor play, Chris? Because that's the best thing I've seen all day today.
So Caden Proctor, for those who didn't see it, Caden Proctor, the offensive tackle, gigantic,
344 pounds.
He lined up wide several times in this game. He lined up wide several times, and sometimes would motion or come in or whatever. But then one of these times, in the red zone, they throw a bubble screen to him. Just snap the ball, throw it right to him. He rumbles, carries guys for about 10 yards and picks up the first down. And my first thought is the Detroit Lions cannot wait to draft this guy. Yeah. Put him in Penei Sewell.
Well, he got the ball, and Jam Miller is throwing a block on a defender, and he just forearm shivered the 2 guys who were engaged in the block and knocked him forward 3 yards. It was ridiculous. First of all, I wish they had run that to the wide side of the field so they'd have a little more space to rumble. It was a little tight in there, and he kind of they never actually really sort of tackled him. He kind of just tripped and fell, and if the sideline hadn't been there, he would have scored. But a Caden Proctor, 6-yard rushing touchdown, because that did end up being a rush. This was a backwards pass, which
was it? Okay.
It's bold to throw a backwards pass to your lineman.
Yeah, that's a long throw to catch, too.
Yes, you got to trust his hands. But man, that was incredible. That was the best thing I saw today. Is Caden Proctor just bowling over, his guys were blocking, and he was just I don't really care where the blocks are. I'm just gonna create space.
So Georgia always just kind of behind in this game. They didn't convert a third down until pretty late in the game when they were only down 7. They stayed in this for a while. Alabama missed a field goal pretty badly. That kind of kept them around in it as well. I thought Gunnar Stockton was fine. 13 for 20, 130 yards.
He's been better this season than I thought he was probably going to be, especially because, as we said, I'm not super crazy about the weapons around him.
Georgia got explosive runs. They had 2 guys get a 43-yard run. There's a 24-yard run, a 21-yard run. They averaged 7 yards a carry on the whole. They just couldn't get in front, and Alabama was able to hold on to the ball 35 minutes of possession. And when they kept converting third downs, it just extended the time that Georgia's offense couldn't be on the field. They just kind of sucked the air out of the ball until the clock ran out, and they made enough stops at the end.
I've been hitting on this for 2 years. I was texting our Seth Emerson last year. I haven't texted about it this year. Where's Oscar Delp? No touches tonight. what are we doing? I don't understand. Like the tight ends used to be such a huge piece of this offense. Obviously you had Darnell Washington, Brock Bowers. Oscar Delp is not to that level, but he's a pretty good player. I don't know how you don't set stuff up for him, get him touches, make people tackle him in space. He doesn't have the same combination of power and speed that Bowers did, but he's like a good player. I don't understand like Oscar Delp MIA for the entire time, the last 2 seasons since they have lost Brock Bowers.
Did you get an answer from Seth?
Well, the time that I asked him was the first game. They're playing Clemson in the first game, basically, and they were getting mauled up front. And he was like, they just need him in to block, but they'll get it to him eventually. Later in the season, they kind of just never did. And I don't know that was the case tonight. I mean, I felt like they kind of played to a stalemate on the offensive front, but they lost on the defensive front big time. I thought Georgia did, but so I don't know.
As I look at this, like Georgia had a better yards per play than Alabama. The difference was Georgia ran 53 plays, Alabama ran into the 70s. So they just ran like 20 more plays because they kept converting the third downs. That's ultimately what the difference is. Kalen DeBoer now 2-0 against Kirby Smart. Kirby Smart now 1-7 against Alabama. Is this a problem?
No, because I think it's 2 different teams. You might as well put whatever you want on their helmet. Like, I think it was a mental issue early on with the Saban thing, but now it's kind of like, nah, not really. It's totally different. Sam Cowan was talking about the comparison between Mike Bobo and Todd Monken. I mean, I will say the Mike Bobo offensive experience the last couple seasons it's not been my favorite thing. Now, Carson Beck,
I don't think
how much of that was the issue and how much of it was the weapons. I don't know, but all I know is when I've watched that offense, I haven't seen as much creativity, as much open receivers, certainly as much productivity, explosiveness. It just looks worse kind of all around, and I don't know that it's the talent. So.
I don't really think offense was the reason they lost either. Also, yeah, Todd Monken was better. That's why he's the offensive coordinator of the Baltimore Ravens. It's you got to deal with the staff turnover, and Saban was always really good at doing it. If you're Georgia, think of the last handful of big games you've been in. Tonight, lose to Alabama. Last year, lose to
Texas,
Notre Dame. Now you didn't have Carson Beck in that game, but you lose that game. You did beat Texas, but you lost to Bama. Again, you beat Texas twice, basically. Before that, you lose to Bama in the SEC championship game. So it's just like, Georgia's good enough where their season will come down to just a couple of games, and they're not winning them essentially, and that in a way that they were, even when they were winning the national championship, they lost to Alabama in one of those years. So it's just kind of a thing where it's like, how is Kirby Smart when the talent level is the same? That's what we say about Ryan Day. It's what we say about James Franklin. Kirby Smart's better than them. He's got 2 national championships, but nobody's Nick Saban. Nobody is Nick Saban, and nobody will ever be Nick Saban. And I think that's kind of one of the lessons from this. Anything else on this game? I wanted to jump back to something else in a different game here.
No. Solar Kennedy wanted to know who your Heisman frontrunner is after tonight. We are starting the Athletics Heisman watch, so we're kind of thinking about it. Chris, who jumps out to you? Other than Steve Angeli, apparently.
I haven't thought about it a ton. I need to. I want to say Dante Moore, but that's very much just heat of the moment.
Yeah, it feels reactionary to say that, but I don't know. I think Dante Moore is in the mix. I think Ruben Bain
no. I take that back. I take that back. John Mateer.
Okay. I mean, if you want, I guess it feels kind of.
For now, it's going to have to change.
But if it's going to be, if he's going to disappear for the next month, it's
the same way I do with. It's the same thing I do with rankings.
Right.
Based on what you've done now. I'm not that John Mateer is going to win. I'm not saying I'm predicting him to win.
No, it's a vote for right now. It's not a predictive. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'd have Dante Moore in there. I'd have Ruben Bain in there.
Yes, Ruben Bain from Miami. Yes. I was looking up stats here. Quarterback's not great. I mean, Ahmad Hardy from Missouri, running back.
Yeah, Mud Hardy's probably in the mix at the moment.
He should be in there. He's been very good.
I really want to see that game. That Mizzou Bama game in a couple weeks got huge.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
That's gonna be a big one.
Okay, Andrew T here. There needs to be an investigation of the Indiana ending. Extremely suspicious.
Aggressively overthought from our guy Steve.
Did you see this, David?
Oh, I 100% saw it.
Okay,
so
wait. So let me Let me explain it. So Indiana gets to stop on Iowa on 4th down. There's like 20 seconds left in the game,
but they
and
have all
Indiana can like technically not kneel out the game because Iowa's got all 3 timeouts. And so Indiana goes back to kneel Fernando Mendoza. He doesn't kneel, he just stands there, and then the refs just blow it dead, even though he hasn't been tackled or anything, because Iowa's not rushing him. And then Iowa calls timeout. Signetti's mad at the refs for not for stopping the clock, which I think he's right to be upset about. Like, there was time left, and this happened like 3 times in a row, where it's just like he's not really getting tackled, and they're blowing it dead. And so then there's 3 seconds left. It's a 20-13 game, and on the 4th down, Mendoza runs all the way back into the end zone.
What are they doing?
And gets tackled, and Indiana wins 20-15. And some people had Indiana covering the like a 6 or 7 point spread. I think I had 7.5 or 8, so it didn't matter.
Yeah, I don't know. Chris, for a lot of people in the house with you right now?
Yes, Ari Wasserman did have some money on Indiana to cover and lost it there. We didn't watch it live though. Wait, hold on.
Go ahead.
We didn't watch that live because it was on Peacock, and so I had it on the iPad.
Oh, I had it on my computer.
And so I'm like, well, the game's over. Should I just like get back into YouTube TV? And I was like debating it. I was like 4th down. I was like, nah, he'll probably just run back 10, 20 yards and go down. Let me just ignore it. And then I see it happens on Twitter. And so Ari was like, that really happened? I was like, yeah, that's what happened. He was very upset about that. So
I don't know why they had to overthink it. Just do what Oregon did. Just fart around for 2.
Well,
as we learned in the Mac Brown experience, the clock does not stop until it hits something outside of the field. So just roll out slow and chuck it as high as you can over to the sideline. Like the whole nonsense where you're running backwards, like you're way more likely to have some sort of disaster play.
But also, why are you going all the way to
it's like
the end zone? Yeah. Like the clock had run out. Like if you lose the ball there.
Well, my favorite part of him going to the end zone is like he ran all the way back to the end zone, but then he stopped to make sure they could tackle him in case they could punch it out. He's like, obviously I can't run out the back of the end zone, right? I got to wait in the end zone and wait for somebody to tackle me.
Insane. So I don't know. Here's a question. Good question from Solar Kennedy as well. After tonight, do you believe that Alabama versus Florida State was a fluke?
No,
I say no.
Florida State's pretty good. Alabama's really good, and they went on the road and lost. Yeah,
I need to get some water here. I think it's both teams are good, and it's a week 1 football game. Like stuff happens, and I think Alabama didn't take Florida State seriously. We got to talk about Florida State, Virginia too. Is that like maybe the next biggest one?
I'm gonna grab a Polar, Chris, because I had to rush in here. I didn't really get a drink. I will be back. You're gonna have to carry the show.
Yeah. So, okay, let's talk Arkansas here. Notre Dame 56, Arkansas 13. The Sam Pittman era will be done at some point. Will it come Sunday? We don't know. What I can tell you is I wrote a story here of the Athletic today. His buyout, it's like 9-something million if they fire him tomorrow, because his buyout is if he is above 500 or better from 2021 on, his buyout is like 9-something million. If he's under 500, it's like 6-something million. He's currently 29 and 27. So you could wait 3 to 4 weeks for him to get under 500 and then fire him and save a couple million. But after you lose 56-13 and give up 420 yards in the first half, like, I would imagine they're probably going to fire him tomorrow. I think that's too bad of a loss. And you have Bobby Petrino sitting there where you're like, let's see if Bobby can actually do a better job of, saving this season while we can.
And
David,
a not insignificant number of money people would like to see Bobby take the reins again anyway.
Yep.
I have said that I think that's a bad idea, but we'll see. So I think it's going to happen.
Yes, it is definitely going to happen. Ohio State 24, Washington 6. I think Ohio State has the best defense in the country.
Yeah, that's a chokehold.
Maybe not even close.
There's a chokehold. Like, that game was ugly, and I came away still feeling like pretty good about DeMond Williams. I was like, he's okay. Disaster.
He's like, DeMond Williams is like 12 for 13 or something in this game, and they're like down by 2 scores, and you're just like, man.
Yeah.
And Washington had their chances early on. They get in there, kick a field goal, then they get in and try a fake field goal that was disastrous. You can't be kicking field goals against Ohio State. Like, only touchdowns are going to win you this game. Then they eventually ran out of that space, and Ohio State woke up. What'd you think?
Yeah, I'm still not 100% sure what to make of Ohio State, but this is probably their best game. They looked a lot better in this game than they did against Texas. Offensively, for sure. Defensively, probably. But I still don't really know what to make of them. Texas just played so poorly in that game. Obviously, the talent is there, but I want to see them kind of in a game like we saw tonight. Like, I felt like Bama, Georgia, Penn State, Oregon, I felt like they all played like okay. Penn State's offense, probably the weak link there. But in the fourth quarter, I mean, they sort of redeemed themselves a little bit. So, yeah, I mean, it was just a compelling day of football. Ohio State doesn't wow me as much. I still feel like the Jeremiah Smith thing, I want to see a 200-yard game from him. Is that possible?
So, now
they have to use him as a decoy so much now that I don't know.
Well, that's what I think is happening. I think I think everybody's just doubling him all game long and making Sayan throw to somebody else.
Yeah,
and that one, he did have a touchdown in this game. Very good play.
But even that play was like a little underneath screen where nobody else
that's the play.
Running routes. They had to find
but that's a well-designed play to get the ball to him. And so I was impressed with Sayan, his first road game.
Yeah.
They weren't throwing much early on. It felt like they wanted him to get settled in. And then he got settled in. Mm-hmm. And he hit some big throws late. And Bo Jackson, I think, is clearly their number one running back. I can't believe we have another Bo Jackson. This is like when there was Isaiah Thomas. Another Isaiah Thomas for basketball. So
I think I've texted our Ohio State writer Cam Teague about Bo Jackson like 3 times.
Yeah, freshman too, I believe. So, yeah, Ohio State was my number one coming in. Didn't feel great about it just because I didn't think much about Texas, but now, Ohio State, very good team, very good team.
I think Washington's really good. I think
Washington will be fine. Yeah,
they're much improved from a year ago.
Like, if you look at the total numbers, I think the total yardage was pretty close, or at least it was for a very long time. Let me pull this up.
Yeah.
So it's 24-6 at the final. Yeah, I guess second half Washington's offense fell apart. Total yards was not great, but DeMond Williams was 18 for 23. Like, they'll be fine. I think it was one of those weekends where for a lot of teams you came out thinking like maybe nobody's good, but then by the end of the night you were like, no, I think there's a handful of teams that are good. I think Ohio State's in there. I think Oregon's in there. Alabama's in there. Georgia, Penn State maybe a step below. So they've got that.
Chris, you know what I'm realizing today?
What
is we are seeing some real year 2 bumps like around college football.
Like what?
Let's look at this. From new coaches. Manny Diaz at Duke. We'll throw them in there, I guess. I don't know if you want to throw Signetti in there, but whatever. Sharon Moore, Michigan. Jonathan Smith, Michigan State. Jed Fish at Washington. Willie Fritz at Houston. We'll put Kalen DeBoer in Alabama in there. The big one, which we can talk about if we want to, Jeff Lebby at Mississippi State. Mississippi State might be the most improved team in college football this year.
Yeah,
Mike Elko at Texas A&M. we're gonna skip over Trent Bray at Oregon State.
If they could just kick the ball.
Yeah, I know.
You didn't stay up for that last night, did you?
No, I did not. Sean
So
Lewis, San Diego State, and then Ken Niumatalolo, San Jose State. They lost a tough one tonight. Gerard Parker, Troy, John Summerall, Tulane. I don't know if that's your two bounce.
So Houston, Oregon State last night, Friday night. It's late. It's after the TCU game. It's after the Florida State game. Oregon State's up 2 scores. One of our group chats with Sam Kahn, Houston grad, he said he was going to bed and he went to bed. The only ones who stayed up for it were me and Antonio Morales, who lives in California. And he missed Houston
Central Time.
Erased a 14-point deficit in the finals. Missed Houston erased a 14-point deficit. Oregon State had a field goal blocked. They had a couple kicks bad. They would have won that game if they could make a kick. So that's 2 games now they've probably lost due to special teams. That was not great.
Yeah, I didn't even try to stay up for that.
Well, you should have, because it was a good game.
No,
college football, man. Ole Miss 24, LSU 19. Trinidad Chambliss again, man. 314 passing yards, and once again, Ole Miss can't do anything on offense.
It kind of feels.
I mean, LSU
Simmons
can't do anything.
Is done now, right? Like it feels like
done
the
what?
LSU, you can't go back now, can you? I after 1 game, I was like, surely you can. 2 games, I was like, it's a tough call now. Now I don't think it's a tough call at all. Also, did you know he won a national championship at Ferris State last year?
Yeah, they won. Ferris State is a Division II powerhouse.
Oh, I know that, but I'm just saying, started 16 games in 3 years.
They're in Michigan. I went to the first of those because they played the NCAA D2 championship at McKinney High School Stadium in Texas, which is a really, really nice stadium. And they beat Valdosta State. I went to that game, rushed the field with all the Ferris State fans, got a picture with the mascot. Good time. Dwayne The Rock Hudson mentioning Butch Jones came up through Ferris State. We will mention Butch Jones, by the way, later on this show.
Will we? Okay.
I have it in the doc. A notable thing happened to Butch Jones's team. We'll get to that.
I missed this. Okay.
But Ole Miss, LSU, 254 total yards, 57 rushing yards. They haven't scored more than 23 points against an FBS team, and that was Louisiana Tech, who they scored 23 on. Just like they just can't do anything offensively, and they have what is supposed to be the best quarterback. Like it's the same thing every week now. This is why those comments were made in the press conference to Brian Kelly, despite beating Florida, because you had 5 interceptions and only won by 10 or whatever. They only scored 13 points in that game.
And I don't care that Caden Durham's out. They can't run the ball. The Caden Durham thing is an excuse. They couldn't run the ball.
No. And Ole Miss,
I think they finished with 40-something yards on 22-something carries. No. That's not.
Ole Miss.
That's not. You can't win unless you can stop the run the football.
No. Ole Miss, I said coming in, they're just getting better every week. They're just like they were kind of lucky to escape Arkansas, but then they destroy Tulane. They pretty much led this game wire to wire. They're just top. I think it's top 10 team now. Got to be top 10 team.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think so. How do we feel about Ole Miss embracing the Trinidadian flag as a fan base?
I mean, he's not Trinidadian. Is that? I don't even know.
He is Trinidad though.
I mean, there's Trinidad and Tobago, by the way. Like it's both the country.
Listen, if we're gonna rank Ole Miss's love of flags, I'm gonna take Trinidad over some others. So
that's a very good point. It's a very good point. And Trinidad and Tobago has a pretty cool flag. Have you seen it? It's just red with the black single stripe. The first thing I remember though about Trinidad and Tobago, do you want to know where I first learned about Trinidad and Tobago, the country?
D2, I'm guessing.
Yes, D2, the Mighty Ducks. They lose to Team USA. Trinidad scores the goal. They're banging the drums in their tie-dye jerseys. I don't know if that was culturally appropriate or not, but I was a kid and I loved it.
Shout out to the Junior Goodwill games. Got to bring those back.
Yeah. Ole Miss, man, and like Lane Kiffin going for some 4th downs. Like last year's team was the one with all the hype and all the attention and all the portal guys and all this stuff.
Better on the lines, I think.
He seems to just love this team. They seem to all be like on the same page. Like no flash, none of this. Just a team that's taking care of business. I think that's the best thing you could have if you're.
They feel like a team like
them.
it's hard for me to take them super seriously as like a title contender. I don't know that I buy them as an SEC contender.
I would,
but they're a team. But they're a team that I think will probably get in the playoff, and then it's going to be totally matchup dependent. Like there's some teams that even if they go on the road, they might just eviscerate, and then there's some teams I think might choke them out depending on like if you get an Ohio State that like trips up and falls down again. Like I think it'll be really matchup dependent for them.
Yeah. What else do we got here? USC or Illinois beats USC 34-32 walk-off field goal. Here's a fun stat. USC is 1-4 in Big Ten road games against Big Ten teams that are not Pac-12 teams. So Michigan, Minnesota, Maryland, Illinois. I think there was one more in there. 1-4. And in those 4 losses, they led in the final minute of 3 of them. They cannot close games under Lincoln Riley. It's been such a problem. Continued again. Shout out to Illinois too. You get embarrassed on the national stage a week ago, and you come back and get off the ground. Props to Brett Bielema.
Brett Bielema said it in a post-game interview. They're asking him on the camera, and he's like, I think I forget what he said. Something about challenged our who we are, or something. Basically, just like last week was embarrassing, and we felt like we had to rise to the occasion. And this is a quality win for Illinois. They've had such a weird season. Like people kind of discount the Duke game because Duke kind of like imploded there late, and then obviously the Indiana game was. I don't know, man. I did you downgrade Indiana in your head after today?
No, because Illinois won.
No, Indiana. I'm talking about the Iowa.
I mean, so Indiana beats the Indiana 20, the close win at Iowa. I say no because my ceiling on them wasn't as high as other teams. My ceiling on this team is not, compete for the national championship. And so eventually you go on the road, you win at a place that's tough to win on the road, and your Illinois win looks better a week later. I think they're fine. You win. So let's go back to Mississippi State here. Sam Callan, Lebby's leader for SEC Coach of the Year to me. So Tennessee wins 41-34 in overtime. This is
why not National Coach of the Year, by the way?
Yeah, I mean, so Mississippi State was up with 2 minutes to go for Tennessee tied it up. Tennessee had a long touchdown called back on an OPI that was very shady.
Bad call.
But then Tennessee did get a sack, scoop, and score, so it kind of evened itself out. But this is a team, Mississippi State. They went 2-10 last year. 0-8 in the SEC. They look like a solid ball club.
Well, they beat Arizona State rather dramatically. The thing that I came with, so they added, they added some portal pieces. Obviously, you get year 2 for any coaching staff, a little bit more about what you got and what you can do. But the thing that I've come away with beyond the Arizona State game, I mean, they just hung with Tennessee today. It wasn't smoke and mirrors. It wasn't like, well, we're hitting some big plays. I mean, they were just kind of neck and neck with Tennessee today. Tennessee's obviously a better team. That they end up getting out of there with a win, but it was impressive. It was impressive because their last year they got so pushed around on both lines. They couldn't protect. They couldn't stop anybody. Their defense, that was one of the worst SEC defenses I've seen in a while. And then Blake Shapen gets hurt, and then they really were kind of falling apart. But they just hang with people. It's not that they fixed some of the stuff on the lines, and they look like a normal SEC team. Where I'm looking around, I don't think they were kind of the gimme game last year. I think the SEC at this point doesn't really have any gimme teams, do they? I don't think so. Am I forgetting somebody?
You know what I found out? You can buy a replica of the Trinidad and Tobago hockey jersey from D2 Mighty Ducks. Is that inappropriate? I don't know.
I mean, I think if you are, I don't know. That's a good question. I guess Kentucky would probably be the closest thing, but they're not completely terrible.
So. Brandon Marcello, CBS, made a good comment here. He tweeted, "Going to say it out loud because I can't believe it's true. Vanderbilt at Alabama is the best game in college football next week."
Okay.
I haven't looked at the full schedule, but
it's a storyliner.
It's pretty good. Let me pull up next week. Top
Respect
25.
for Kentucky, Georgia.
No, it's not. No, well, I mean, maybe you got Florida State, Miami.
Yeah, Florida State, Miami is much better. And don't sleep on TCU, Colorado. Also, that'd be an interesting one.
I don't think I'm going to that game. I was going to go to that game until TCU lost to Arizona State. Now I think I'm not going.
Colorado's in a bit of a tussle at the moment. It's the night window is odd here. There's only one game happening, and it's Colorado in a standalone. It's interesting.
I kind of hope I don't go to that. We got some other comments here. So I'll get to so the Butch Jones thing. ULM 28, Arkansas State 16. ULM ended a 16-year losing streak to Arkansas State. Shout out to the Warhawks. Shout out to the Sickos Committee. ULM mentioned.
That's probably over the course of like 8 different coaches.
And Butch Jones's team is now 1-4. 1-4 after developing a pretty solid program the last couple of years. They built that thing up. They have stumbled back in a big way. So that is what I was going to mention ULM and Butch Jones for. Samuel Thomas, anyone see Louisville go on a 34-10 run after the Pitt players got into a scuffle with the Louisville ball boy? Vintage college football moment.
I'm gonna actually refrain from commenting on this, but I'm gonna say that you should read The Athletic soon.
You wrote about it, or you're writing about it?
I'm gonna not comment.
Okay, I'll comment. So here's what happened. And was it Grace Rayner? One of our colleagues wrote a story about ball boys, and kind of the job. It was a good story. I don't know, a couple months ago. So ball boys are responsible for their team's footballs.
Yes.
And when there's a turnover, it is their job to go get it from the defense. And you'll see it sometimes. It usually doesn't make the broadcast, but sometimes ball boys will just go take it from a defensive player on the other team, and that defensive player gets mad because they don't know who this person is and what they're doing. And it appeared that's what happened here. I guess David won't comment. You can see it on The Athletic later, but my guess is that's what happened, because I've seen it happen before.
Yeah, last year, did you see the Sanders boys got in a tussle?
Yeah,
it was a Texas Tech ball boy. That one was.
Yep.
That wasn't a great look.
Yeah, so Pitt was up 17-0 in this game without Des Reed. Louisville comes all the way back and wins. Miller Moss plays pretty solid, getting through some things. Louisville's undefeated. Pretty solid team that we're not talking much about.
I'm comfortable not talking about them. I've watched them.
They're
You're muted, Chris. My only point is just having watched enough of Louisville, I recognize that they're undefeated. I also recognize that I'm unimpressed with what I have seen. Miller Moss has found a nice spot. I think that marriage is going as well as we thought it would. Him and Jeff Brom. That said, that's my Louisville take.
No, I just keep an eye on them. The ACC is like totally wide open now. Louisville,
yeah, that's
solid
true.
team, like we thought.
Well, is it? I mean, you're gonna make the Miami folks mad. I'm tentatively leaning into Miami. I don't know that I trust them, but
Sam, how do college players not know that? Read the ball boys. I mean, there's a million people in a football program, and I don't know if they kind of maybe know everything. It looked like Pitt was trying to do its turnover celebration of some kind, a dunk or something, and it seemed like that's what was going on there. Okay, so Florida State, Virginia. This is not tonight, but Florida State, Virginia.
Great game.
We got to talk about this for several reasons. Great game, insane game, double overtime. Virginia wins, knocks off top 10. Players get trampled in the craziest field storm I've ever seen, but it seems all the players were okay. I saw a story today that 19 people were treated for injuries of various kinds.
Yeah,
which doesn't surprise me.
So, real quick on the field storming thing, that's like they weren't very detailed in terms of what's going on. I've seen a lot of injuries. So last year, I went to 4 or 5 consecutive games where the field was stormed. And like at Arkansas, when they beat Tennessee, like I'm in the tunnel kind of waiting to talk to Tennessee's guys after they had lost. And there's like 3 or 4 people there's a lot of people that do suffer injuries and like they're normal, like just students. So you don't get a lot of publicity. And then the worst ones by far, Oklahoma State, when they stormed the field.
Yes, because you gotta
it's like a
you
10,
gotta come
it's
off
like it's maybe an 8 to 10 foot drop. Like
Yeah.
a lot of people break
and
their
people
ankles jumping
land
out of
and
there.
and crumble, especially girls, and then you don't
Yes.
want people to then fall on top of them. I was there when they won the last Bedlam game. That's what happened. I lost my watch in that field storm and somehow came off.
A
I never
lot of
found it
people
again.
break their ankles jumping over there. At least, so that's like with Virginia, there's no barrier to the field, which that seems crazy.
No,
to
which
me. I
is
didn't know that before
I guess
yesterday.
so it's up on the hill. There's just a
Yeah.
hill. There's no stands. All the students there. Looks really cool, especially when it's full and everything. It makes for an intimidating look. But then I saw it, and then like later I was like, they win this game, that's going to make it very easy to storm the field. And then it turns out they're storming the field in that very spot. Our Grace Rayner was at the game just as a fan. And she told us, she was like, yeah, the students kept inching down and down and down in that fourth quarter. And they're just like on the edge of the field for that overtime. Last play's intercepted. And it's just a swarm of people. Looked dangerous. I'm glad they stormed the field. I hope seems like most everybody's okay. It doesn't seem anything was serious. Thank God. I'm not one of those people who says don't do it. All these kinds of things. The one thing you shouldn't do though, they made a TikTok about this that blew up. The guy who runs in front of Tommy Castellanos and flips him off while holding his phone, recording it. It's lame. It's loser behavior. Like you want to like jump in front of a guy while you're running by, okay, but to flip him off and record it, and this person did not, you can't really tell, they don't look like a student. They look like they were older than college.
You know how I knew that was loser behavior, Chris? Is he was doing it. You know, the cameras the mics didn't catch it when he ran by him. He said, Virginia Tech sucks. And that's how I knew it was actually loser behavior, because his rival was in his head after they just beat Florida State.
Oh, okay. I was wondering where you were going with that. I was like, I never condone violence, but if that happened and a player took a swipe at you, like I'd say that was fine. Like remember when Caitlin Clark ran over that Ohio State fan when they stormed the court and people got mad at Caitlin Clark over it? I was like, what do you expect, man?
I mean, it could have been much worse. And then we had Kyle Filipowski? That
yes,
thing
yeah. Someone took a shot at him.
Well, something happened to his ankle. I forget exactly what it was. Because like when college basketball season comes around, like I pay attention, but I don't watch near it. I mean, I just don't watch this religiously.
Yeah, and there was a Tennessee Alabama game. I think one of the ones you were at. Didn't?
Yeah, that was Jermaine Burton. He just punched like a girl fan.
Yeah, that was
a little different. I think she said something, or maybe she didn't. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. You can't just be punching fans either way.
No. Can't be doing that. LeGarrette Blount, that was a little different.
That's Byron Howe. That's another player. So that was a Thursday nighter to start the season. That was a crazy night. LeGarrette Blount, man. Oh.
Yeah. So I'm happy for Virginia. They're 4-1. Their schedule is crazy easy the rest of the way. Like I'm not saying they're going to go undefeated or anything, but they don't play Miami, they don't play SMU, they don't play Clemson. It's Louisville, Washington State, North Carolina, Cal, Wake, Duke, Virginia Tech. Like between them and Georgia Tech, both very very clear paths to the ACC championship game to play Miami. So next week, we'll talk about it more obviously next week, but I am a bit disappointed that Miami, Florida State's no longer a top 10 matchup. You know, like that hasn't happened it hasn't happened in 12 years. And like, man, that would have been cool. Like the ACC, like similar to the Pac-12's demise, like sometimes you just need your best brands to be good. And it would really help the ACC to have Miami and Florida State be really good. And then this happens.
Well, this goes back to like we weren't really sure what to make of Florida State coming off there. I'm still not even entirely sure what to make of them. Like I watched them and I'm like, this is a pretty good team. But like I wasn't entirely shocked they lost to Virginia. I don't think Virginia is great, but they
I think
offensively
they're
have
solid.
clearly turned. Yeah, they've clearly turned a corner offensively.
Yeah.
Where it had been kind of pretty bad for Tony Elliott for some time. And Chandler Morris, he's
Played well. 5 touchdowns
played well.
total.
He's had a nice. They were trying to lose that game, but he played well and made the plays when they needed him to.
The play
But
calling
I
late. Yeah,
that's the issue with Florida State is they're not above losing dumb games like this. Where you feel like it's not even just Virginia. Like they should have won that game just based on how the game played out. Like they let that one get away from them.
When Florida State got in clear passing situations, Virginia just blitzed, and Tommy Castellanos was like,
I'm gonna run backwards 10 yards and then chuck it in the sky.
Yeah, does not know how to handle that. So that is going to be an adjustment. It's possible. I think Miami dominates them just because of what Miami's in the trenches. Florida State's not that. Florida State's tackling was not good. So that's that. Thanks to everybody who's still here. We're still going. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't. The YouTube channel where we are doing this. If you have other questions or stuff, jump in. Going through some of the stuff here. Will UCLA get a win this season after losing to Northwestern?
Let's go through the schedule. I haven't really looked at who they have to play.
I know their next couple of games were their last chances. Next is Penn State. Yeah, Penn State and Michigan
I don't like
State.
their odds in the Penn State game, I got to tell you.
Maryland, Nebraska, Ohio State, Washington, USC. It's very possible now. Yeah.
Holy cow, that's a tough schedule. I didn't realize their schedule was that hard. Like Maryland's probably Maryland and Nebraska at home is their best shot. And like, oof. UCLA is like the most like just like sort of faces of death college football watch currently, where it's just like it's really bad every time you watch them, and it's like bad. It's bad enough where it's like interesting, which is never a good place to be. Like every time UCLA plays, I'm like, I kind of want to see what's going on over here.
Yeah, but by the way, Virginia Tech beat NC State with interim coach Philip Montgomery, former Tulsa head coach. They won the game by 2 or 3 points. Philip Montgomery now has as many one-score wins as Brent Pry did. Brent Pry was 1-12 in one-score games.
Big weekend for one-score games, by the way. Coaches that do poorly in them.
Yeah, some other games here. We'll talk about. We're still going to do Monday's show. So we'll get into some stuff more, but some quick stuff here. Yeah. Texas A&M 16, Auburn 10. Texas A&M 400 dominated the total yardage here. Jackson Arnold continues to get sacked up a storm, but Auburn's not running the ball at all. Hugh Freeze's play calling has been pretty terrible, and the Auburn faithful are kind of turning against him in that. Like, they are setting Jackson Arnold up to fail.
Yeah. Chris, here's a question for you. Maybe we talk about this more on Monday. I went on the Go Look show and asked who the best team in the SEC was, and I reluctantly said A&M. Who would you say after today is the best team in the SEC?
In the SEC, Alabama? No, I guess with a healthy
it's a hard question.
With
a very hard question.
I'd say Oklahoma.
All right.
I mean, it's got to be somebody.
I know that's like that. That's what I'm saying. I was like, I said like my gut is telling me A&M, while my head is screaming at me that it can't be A&M. But I'm like, based on just what I've seen. Like they're really good on the lines. They're explosive in the offensive game. They can run the ball. They got good DBs. They got great liners. They're really good on the up front. Like they're pretty good.
Did you see Mike Elko's press conference, by the way?
Yeah, he took a shot at Brian Kelly, right? He was mad that people were talking about the issues in the team and not. He
was like in a joking way. He was trying to be funny, and he was like trying not to like call out Brian Kelly, but he was basically like, why are you guys so gloom about everything? Because we did just win. And one of Ari's friends did come over to watch the game with us. He's an A&M guy. He was not loving the feeling after the game, even though they won, even though they're a top 10 team.
A&M fans, guys.
A&M fans are ready. They're prepared for it to be. They're prepared to be hurt.
Just every win, just drink it in. All right, listen. Chris, I'm teetering on doing a journalism rant. I don't want to do a journalism rant here, but like, what are the coaches expecting? Like, Hey, can you talk about how great it is to be 5-0? Like nobody, like
You're
I don't
saying
want to
that the
do a
media,
journalism rant.
saying the media
I'm
leans
saying that
into
a lot of
negativity.
college football media is pretty soft locally, and I think the coaches are sort of getting in tune with that. And so when there's hard questions, even after like wins, they're not reacting
So
great to it.
So Daniel Miller here, David, I have no idea about this, says thoughts on the reports of Colorado firing Coach Prime. I have no idea what this is.
I don't know. I feel like that feels like a troll. I don't know what the.
I don't know. But Colorado's up on undefeated BYU right now, midway through the third quarter. So I don't think that's going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen. You're saying they don't want to fire the guy that's made them relevant, made them tens of millions of dollars, and has turned their program from a laughing stock that nobody cared about into a somewhat legitimate Big 12 title contender.
Yeah, I mean, now if you told me Dion was going to step away from coaching for whatever reason, health stuff or what have you, like, okay, I'd buy that. But in terms of firing him, that I don't.
It really is crazy, like
understand.
how much health stuff Dion has had. Like relative, he's had more health issues just since coming to Colorado than like most head coach. Like you could combine like every other head coach, like in the sport in terms of health issues that have taken away. It's kind of wild, actually.
Okay, Joaquin Peterson here. Just want to say, appreciate you guys' content. You've been a big part of me getting back into college football as someone from Norway. Bad for my sleep schedule, though, being up at 5 a.m. watching the Ducks play. Oh, man. 5 a.m. to watch the Ducks. This is like, you know who we haven't checked on? Niall from Scotland.
Chris, it's a bad weekend to be being nice to Europe. Can I just...
He picked...
Can we keep it a little spicy in Europe right now?
No, I'm not at all mad at Europe for the Ryder Cup.
I'm pretty mad at Europe for the...
I'm mad at the American team. They're blowing it, man.
Yeah, believe me, I know.
Like,
I watched a lot of it on Friday, and I was frustrated. And then I watched some this morning. I had to run some errands this morning, and then I turned it off at about 10:30. I have not watched it since. I have a golf group chat with some college friends, the ones that actually care about golf, and it's been a lot of just roasting ourselves and frustration. Yeah. So,
but Niall from Scotland, he said he had picked Auburn, right? Was it Auburn? He picked as his team?
Yes, he did. Thing, so. Against our wishes, yeah.
But he had been, I think he was considering Ole Miss, maybe. So I wonder if that's changed. But it's nice to hear from listeners across the pond or just other places who are finding the show or into college football. As the NFL's got Ireland game this week, like very curious kind of the future there. Yeah, getting up at 5 a.m. to watch Oregon play tough, but congrats to your Ducks. I'd hate to have to get up that early to watch a game and you lose. So
I'm not getting up at 5 a.m. for anything, I gotta tell you, unless one of my children is screaming, which happens more often than I would like. So.
Some other games, Cincinnati.
If there's other parents of toddlers in the chat, we're in true after dark territory. What is this instinct that if you're 3 and you wake up, you just start screaming? What is this? Why do they?
I do that sometimes.
My daughter does this. It's insane. We have a 3-year-old and 1-year-old. The 1-year-old does not do this, and our other one did not do this. But like literally, she will wake up, and it doesn't matter if it's 2 a.m. or 5 a.m. or 7 a.m. She's gonna wake up, and you would think that there were murderers in her room. It is insane. Please stop doing this. Why do kids do this? If anyone has any experience with this and how to get them to stop doing it, please let me know.
Is that the age when you start having nightmares for the first time?
She's had some bad dreams, but you can get her calmed down. They're usually in like the middle. That'll be like a 2 a.m. screaming wake up. That makes sense, and you can get her calmed down and she'll go back to sleep. But
I've got some faint memories
waking up, just normal waking up in the morning. Just normal waking up in the morning. She just is like, ah! I'm like, all right, like you're fine. We'll get you, some milk and some like. She's also big into crackers for breakfast right now, which we're trying to get her off of that. But it's a work in progress.
I think Ari's daughter's been asleep the whole time I've been here. I'm not sure what Liv is up to. She just turned 4, so she's at that age. But Ari's wife went out for the night, so I assume, and I saw her. I assume she's up sleeping. So
yeah, once our kids we're in a pretty good spot. Once they're down sleeping, they're pretty good. Every now and then we'll get it, but like once they're down, they're pretty much down. Everybody's down by like 8:30 generally.
Yeah. Dwayne the Rock Hudson. Speaking of the Big 12, how about them Bearcats, huh? Yeah, Cincinnati beats Kansas 37-34. It was a pretty crazy game. So Cincinnati had like several touchdowns called back by officiating. They kick a field goal in the final seconds to win. Jalen Daniels had 445 passing yards for Kansas. Both teams had about 600 total yards.
Great game.
Big game for Scott Satterfield to get off the hot seat. And I
feel like Cincinnati was one of the more underrated teams in the Big 12 coming into the season. I mean, at the end of the day, they brought back the 3 best players and most of their coaching staff, and that's a pretty big deal. So, like, they lost the close one in Nebraska to start, and people kind of stopped paying attention to them. They haven't really played any big games since then, but they're 1-0 in the Big 12, and we'll see. We'll see. Got Iowa State next week at home.
Oh God, Iowa State! I got destroyed in our picks because of Iowa State. Man, I picked Arizona to cover. They very much did not.
I don't remember what I picked.
I picked my wild card pick was Rocco backed under 236 passing yards. That did not hit either. 243.
Yeah, he dropped a dime early on, and that ball he dropped in the back of the end zone was, that was pretty.
Yeah. Also, it appears that Daniel Miller is saying things in the chat that he is, I think, just making up. So
I told you we got to troll. Yeah, that's good. I'm trying to see how our picks did this week, Chris. I had Iowa State. I had Alabama, Oregon.
I think I'm about 500 again.
Yeah,
but the Alabama and Oregon ultimately kind of saved it for me. A couple other things here. North Texas, by the way, 5-0 for the first time since the 1950s. They beat South Alabama, and I do believe I will probably be going to their next game, which is a Friday night game against USF.
That's going to be a fun game. Is that next week?
Yeah. No, it's 2 weeks. It's the night before. Right? It's the night before Red River.
Okay.
Texas, Oklahoma. So perhaps we have a big national media contingent going up to Denton.
I'm at North Carolina again next week, covering Clemson, North Carolina, in a bit of a misery bowl. But
that sucks. Why are you going to that game?
We have myself and Justin Williams that are going to that game because it's been interesting that this has been. If you're ranking the most disappointing teams, like those are 2 that are.
Here's the thing, though, and we know this, like inside the media world, like. Nobody's like cares about North Carolina stuff unless it's about Jordan Hudson. I talked with Andy Staples about this. We sat next to each other at the Oklahoma game. He's like, "Yeah, no one's reading that stuff." So it's a little bit different. But at least go to the Ludacris concert, 10 a.m.
So I probably will be going to the Ludacris concert.
Good. We want live reporting from that.
Out of principle, I can't say that I've been to a concert at 10 a.m. But. We'll see. I guess I know why they don't do it after the game, just because I feel like the vibe. But even if you lose, I feel like if you just like said, "Hey, we're not going to do this 10 a.m. thing. It's stupid. Win or lose, we're going to do 8 p.m. Like get the vibes up, or like continue the vibes from beating Clemson or whatever." Like 10 a.m. I'm just very curious what that even looks like, and like, I mean, 10 a.m. on a college campus before a game is crazy. They did. I don't know who Chase Rice is, but he did like the pregame concert before the TCU game. It was like 6 p.m. and I guess it was well attended. I didn't.
Is he the guy? Is he the guy who was on that Bachelor episode? You know what I'm talking about, dude.
Yeah, I remember that. Where his
he goes. So it's Victoria Fuller goes on the date with what's his name. They go to the Chase Rice concert where Victoria reveals she used to date Chase Rice, which makes it like the most awkward thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
Big, by the way, Ari Wasserman, big fan of Victoria Fuller from The Bachelor as well. Okay, I think that's a good run through for the day. We got Colorado still up on BYU.
Yeah.
Although BYU's near the goal line here. Good game. There was a handful of teams that just hadn't played anybody yet. Oregon, Penn State, Washington, BYU. Like it's gonna make the rankings a little bit not easier to do, but like, all right, now I kind of have a feeling on everybody, so I can't just leave people floating around there.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll see Sunday. We'll see if Sam Pittman gets fired. We'll see how the rankings go. David, any questions? Have you been to Ari's house here, by the way?
Not the new one. I went to the old house. Haven't been to the new house.
It's pretty nice.
I'm not allowed to say what part of Dallas it's in, right? I know where
No.
it is. But no.
So Ari's wife actually just got home, so I think it's about time we wrap up anyway here.
Yeah. All right.
No, you're good,
Chris. It's been fun. It's been
all
fun.
Right. Appreciate everybody who's listening.
Give Britt my best.
I have Britt. David Ubben gives his best. He says hi. She says hi. Ari's wife now involved in 2 separate podcasts in college football. Yeah, Ari and I came over to Ari's house to watch the games, and we had a good time. Yeah, we actually hadn't seen him all season because we were either traveling or just busy or whatever. So
I saw him. Where did I see him? I thought I ran into him somewhere. Oh, it was at I sat next to him at Virginia Tech, South Carolina, actually.
Oh, how was that? Was it?
You know, it was Ari in a football game. You know how it is. So
we love it. Yeah. We love Ari. Appreciate everybody who's listening. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't yet. We enjoy anytime we're both home, have the ability to do these Saturday nights. We'll keep doing them. Usually throw them up on the podcast feed, having a lot of fun. Yeah, so we'll have the normal show still coming out on Monday. And until then, we will talk to you then. So for David Ubben, I'm Chris Vannini. Thanks everybody for staying up late with us. Bunch formation after dark. We will talk to you on Monday. Bring back that turnover chain. Big game next week. Big game.